1. I quit my call center job today. I'm just not cut out for this work. And I have great respect for anyone who is able to do this job for years on end. It's really tough, and you guys are amazing for sticking with it. Now that I'm done, though, I thought I would share some of the funnier moments over the last 10 months on this job. Firstly, where are you? What state are you in?
The United States.
Okay, but which state in the United States?
America.
There are 50 states in the United States of America. Which one of these 50 states are you currently in?
Oh, Tennessee.
Secondly, parenting fail. Okay, ma'am, the next thing you need to do is, and I give a description of this troubleshooting step. Okay, and where's that at? Sorry, I'm not good at this. No problem, I can hear the customer's 12-year-old son in the background.
Oh my god, you're so dumb.
There may have been cursing.
The agent can hear you.
It's here on the phone, and I describe where on the phone it is. Do you see it? Yes, thank you. And the 12-year-old is still screaming in the background. Third, the interpreter. I had a customer call in who was deaf and using a professional interpreter from a service. I was on the phone with him for almost an hour setting up child accounts for the customer's 2 kids and making sure everything worked. And nothing particularly funny happened, but honestly, it was just a nice call where the caller and the interpreter both thanked me multiple times for being so patient and helpful, and it makes me smile whenever I remember it. Fourth, 16 is not 18. Can you please verify your date of birth? And they give him a date of birth from 2006. Okay, so your account is restricted because you're 16. You can wait until you turn 18 or have an adult set up a family account for you.
Why can't I use it now?
Because you're underage. If you want to use it now, I could walk an adult through the setup for a family account.
But that doesn't make sense. Why can't I use it now?
Because you're a minor.
You aren't answering my question.
This went on for about 3 minutes before she shouted at me to speak to my manager. Fifth, SSN, multiple customers, many different calls. Each time I was looking at the SSN for the customer on my screen. Can I please take the last 4 of your social security number?
I don't have one.
Can I please have the last 4 digits of your social security number?
I need to call my mom. Can I call you back?
Can I please have the last 4 digits of your social security number?
I've never given a company that information, and you shouldn't be asking for it.
Can I please have the last 4 digits of your social security number?
What's that?
The number assigned to you by the government shortly after you were born.
I wasn't.
Sir, I can assure you that you were born, otherwise you wouldn't be speaking to me. 2. My first big boy job was at an insurance company. Won't say their name, but as a hint I'll say bum-da-dum bum-bum bum-bum. I'll preface this by saying I'm a patient guy. Too patient. As in I will spend hours explaining the most basic concepts to grown adults who refuse to believe me because it wasn't what they want to hear. Many people believe if they are aggressive enough, they can manifest the impossible into existence. I'll also say my job has a policy where you aren't allowed to hang up the phone without resolving the call unless you get a soup's permission. Regardless of how awful they are, here are some highlights from one of the most mind-blowing calls I've ever had. Hi, thanks for calling Barnyard Insurance. My name is Shinobi, and I'm happy to help you out today. What can I do for...
Is this Clyde? You owe me $500.
When people call their agents after hours, it goes to the corporate center where I work. I'm used to people thinking they're calling their agents and having to explain it to them. It was about 6 p.m. at this time, and most offices are 9 to 5. Hey, so I'm not your agent. You called after hours, which sent you to our corporate center. But I can definitely see what I can do to help you out. What's going on?
That has got to be the worst excuse I've ever heard. Put him on now.
Oh boy. Maybe I should level with him a bit. So actually I'm in a call center and have never met your agent before. Probably best you call them tomorrow during working hours since this seems personal. You want me to send them an email or leave them a message for you? I can share their number too if you need.
I already called the number. This is the number I called. Give me the $500 you owe me, or we'll sue your fucking ass till you can't even afford a box to sleep in.
For brevity's sake, I'll skip around. After 15 minutes of convincing her I'm not her agent in disguise, she finally gets to why she called.
He told me he could save us $500 on our auto insurance when we met him this morning. But we just got our bill in the mail, and it didn't change at all.
I see, and I totally get being alarmed by that. To explain what I think happened, it seems as though he probably gave you an estimate after quoting some policy changes, but didn't push them through. Her account had no changes in the last month.
So you're robbing us of $500? You've got to do better than that or you'll be sorry.
Once again, since I was not involved in the situation at all, I really think it's best you call him in the morning. I can most guarantee he just quoted you an estimate and can push it through. I'd hesitate to make any changes since I'm not sure exactly what he offered, or if I can do it myself.
You're a fucking liar and I can prove it.
I'm sorry?
I'm holding the bill in my hands. What's your excuse now?
I get it. So our bills are sent about 2 weeks before your due date to give you time to prepare for the payment. So if he quoted you this change this morning, then it won't be reflected on the bill, which was sent out 2 weeks before you even spoke to him about these changes.
Okay, but explain why our bill still says we owe the old amount. You are a liar.
This goes back and forth for about 15 minutes. Seriously. At this point, she starts crying and says I need to talk to her husband because she can't handle me anymore. Enter Total Toolbag.
What the fuck did you say to my wife? You asked me to get fucking sushi's bawling.
Trying to revel in the humor of the situation even though I'm about to lose my marbles. Hello, sir, and I recap the situation and my response to it, hoping he might be a bit better of a listener. Nope.
So what you're saying is you're okay with robbing us $500 after promising we could save it. You know, I know a great lawyer, right? What's your first and last name?
We don't give out our last names or personal information, sir. It's a safety precaution. This is true because of people like them.
So let's say I drive down to your agent's office and demand to see Shinobi. What then?
Internally, I'm thinking, holy shit. By this point, my co-workers in cubicles next to me are sharing concerned looks and chuckles as I'm running my hands through my hair. My sub chats me, asking why the call is taking so long, and I explain I am talking to 2 brick walls, but I could handle it. Luckily, he is an awesome and understanding guy and basically told me, I'm here if you need me, take your time, Godspeed. Cut to another 15 to 20 minutes of explaining the same things over and over to him, and then the Total Tool Bag drops this absolute gem.
I can prove you're wrong right now. I'm holding the policy in front of me now, and it says the savings are almost $500 per period. Right here in black and white. The only problem I have is it says estimate right next to the policy name. No response to that, huh?
Holy shit. Eventually, I convince them to let me call their agent tomorrow morning and figure it out. I am 100% positive my very first answer was correct. Before hanging up, I hear the wife hysterically banshee shrieking through tears, telling her husband to tell me that because of me, they missed their church service.
So just so you know, because we wasted so much time talking to you, we missed our church service.
I skip over the fact that had they listened to me and not thrown tantrums, it would have been a 3-minute call. I'm very sorry about that. I promise I will do everything in my power to figure this out for you, and take no more of your time. I leave a voicemail and email to their poor agent, and explain everything just to cover my bases. I tell him I'll call him too, so if I already talked to him, he can disregard my messages. The next day, I immediately give him a call upon logging in. He answers with a friendly voice, and I tell him the situation. As soon as I tell him the names of the clients, I hear him mutter, Jesus fucking Christ, under his breath. These people have a reputation, apparently. He says he will call them later that day. I give him my email in case he needs my help and tell him good luck and Godspeed, as my soup did to me. It was exactly as I had guessed. He sent them a quote that they took as legally binding. They didn't even agree to it, just saw it and liked what they saw. I called them back as a courtesy, and the husband answers. Hello, Total Toolbag. It's Shinobi from yesterday, calling back like I promised. Here's the deal. I explain everything I already told him yesterday, but tell him I got a hold of his agent, and his agent will call him.
Okay.
And for the record, I'm sorry you missed your service yesterday. I hope you and your wife have a good day today.
Okay.
And click. No gratitude, no apologies, just click. Immediately I receive another call and have to compose myself. They may have missed their service, but damn if I didn't give them an entire sermon on turning the other cheek. 3. I'm a 26-year-old female, and I work in a call center for a health insurance in France. One day a woman, Karen, calls us with an issue she has in her website. She couldn't find her guarantees, and she needed to know how much she can pay for her glasses because she needs them quickly. Sure enough, I put her on hold, and I searched through the database. But I couldn't find it either. I turned to my manager to explain to her what happened, and she asks me to transfer her the case. She will handle it after her lunch break. When I explained the issue to Karen, she went ballistic. She wanted to know now because, if I don't have my answer, I'll need to wait 3 months. There's going to be a shortage of glasses in a while. I have to order them now. Spoiler, there was no shortage. Okay, Madame Karen, I'm sorry, but I can't give you guarantees right now. But the problem has been traced back to my manager, who will take care of this and will give you your guarantees as soon as she gets the information. But I need my glasses. Because if I can't get my glasses right now, I might have an accident on the road. It will be your fault. And if it happened, I will sue you. Madame, again, my manager will handle your demand. You will receive your answer as soon as she has the answer. You will be able to order your glasses shortly. Give me your manager. I mute myself quickly and ask my manager if she can take the call. She was about to go on lunch break, but agreed and returned to her office. I'll transfer you to my manager, Madame Karen. Have a nice day. My manager was behind me when I transferred the call. I could only hear half of the conversation. Oh God, this half was good. Hello, Madame Karen. I'm OP's manager. Yes, I understand, Madame. OP explained the issue to me, and I asked her to transfer your file to me so that I could look for your guarantee, which I would do immediately after this call. No, Madame Karen, we are not a bunch of lazy workers. We are paid workers who help people like you. Again, I will search for your guarantee after the call, because I need to contact some people about your case. Yes, it's because we take a lunch break. Yes, we are open 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. I will absolutely talk to my supervisor so that we can work 24/7. Thank you for the advice. It goes on and on for 20 minutes when she finally hangs up. Manager just goes to lunch and takes the case as expected after. Karen received the information the same afternoon. I love my manager and I love working for her. 4. Yesterday I had an unusual case. I've never seen anything like it before. A customer had accrued £20,000 debt over 2 years, but she didn't know about it, because it was a debt which had been silently mounting up in the background of her account, linked to a secondary accessory she could not have known she was meant to be paying for. Customer had never been told about this secondary item, and the first she knew about it was when she was sent a letter to say that she had not paid for 2 years, and now owed all this money. As it was a contract she had entered into, but was extremely vague on conditions, I could see that it had a loophole she could get out of. All she had to do was explain that it was invalid from the start, example 2 years ago, because the contract did not state the correct terms. And not only that, but it had been allowed to accrue for 2 years without sending her any reminders before that. I was happy to put this in writing on her behalf with the correct dates, and explain the error to head office, and it would have taken 10 minutes to write such an email. I was certain that they would listen, because it would have caused all kinds of legal issues. Of course, this being a customer, it wasn't that easy. As I tried to explain, she kept talking to someone in the background so that I couldn't finish explaining why this could be sorted out easily, and more importantly, I couldn't get her consent for me to write the required email for her. The conversation went like this. Mrs. Smith, I have looked around and I see that you've been told you owe £20,000. However,
My son says we will sue you.
However, it would be quite easy to deal with this, as all I have to do, talking to the son,
He isn't going to help with this. We'll have to deal with it ourselves.
It would be quite easy to correct this error. All I have to do is write an email to the head office saying,
"He wants you to write an email. Do it now. Get your laptop."
I would write an email saying that the contract needs to be cancelled from... She wants you to write an email that the contract should be cancelled. No, please don't ask your son to email anything. I am asking if I can, myself, write an email to say that the contract needs to be cancelled from...
He's quite capable of complaining in an email.
But it needs to explain that the contract started on...
Oh, he will complain very strongly.
But it needs to specifically say that the contract started 2 years ago and give the exact date and quote the start of the contract where...
He knows what to put.
It needs to give the start date of the contract and to say that it should never have been...
He will say it needs to be cancelled immediately from today's date.
That won't help, because it needs to say that from the very first day of the contract, which was 2 years ago,
He knows what he's doing.
I am offering to write the email for you, giving all the details which will be needed to cancel this debt in a way that will be understood by a legal challenge, and it requires certain terminology, quotation from the contract, and correct dates to be set down.
My son is very clever. He'll do it straight away. He will tell them that I can't continue the contract because I'm ill and have no money to pay.
Please, could you let me explain? The contract started 2 years ago, and there is a debt of £20,000 which has been accumulating since then without your knowledge. A cancellation needs to be put in from the first date of the contract, which was 2 years... She's talking to her son again on how disgusting the whole thing is. Stating the contract needs to be cancelled from today will have no effect on the debt because the cancellation needs to be put in from the date 2 years ago, when...
We know what to do now. You don't need to keep repeating it. He needs to email your head office and tell them I want to cancel the contract from today. Goodbye.
5. I freely admit I probably could have handled this call better. But yesterday was my 6th day in a row, and I was tired, so my bullshit tolerance was pretty much zero. Call comes through from one of our London hotels about 5 p.m. from 2 American tourists. Thank you for calling XX Reservations. My name is Walter. How can I help?
Our room is too noisy. We want to switch rooms.
Doesn't even bother to say hello or anything, and giving out instantly. Off to a good start. For context, the hotel they booked is attached to one of the busiest train stations in London, and many of the rooms directly overlook the platforms. It's 5 p.m. in central London in the middle of summer. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of noise, which a tiny bit of research before booking would have probably told them. Certainly, ma'am. As you've already checked into the hotel, you'll need to speak to the front desk in order to change rooms. You can either call them from the phone in your room or go down to speak to them. I'm literally just a central booking line, so there's nothing I can do once they're checked in. Apparently this is unacceptable, so she immediately resorts to using threats to try and get her way.
Maybe we'll just leave and stay somewhere else tonight.
I understand your frustration, but you'll need to speak to the front desk. If you just leave without speaking to someone, they'll charge your card for the stay. At this point, her husband decides to butt in and interrupt me in the most condescending tone imaginable.
Stop talking. I'm speaking now.
Oh, wrong thing to say, mate. You might be used to billing customer service staff in the US, but you aren't in the US now. No, you're not. Please don't interrupt me while I'm speaking.
What? How dare you? I'm a customer and...
Sir, again, stop interrupting me. I have already explained twice to your wife what needs to be done. Cue rant from the dickhead husband about how this is disgraceful and he's never been treated like this before. He eventually stops after about 2 minutes. Are you finished? Shouting at me isn't going to change the fact that you'll need to speak to the front desk to switch rooms.
What's your name?
Walter.
And your surname?
For security reasons, we don't give out surnames. He hangs up. To be honest, I feel sorry for the front desk staff, as they were going to have to deal with the fallout, but I just have no tolerance for assholes anymore. As a palate cleanser, the very next call I took was the polar opposite. Also an American, but she was unbelievably pleasant and friendly, and was an absolute delight to speak to. As we ended the call, and just before she hung up, I heard her say to whoever was in the room with her,
"He's such a lovely guy."
Moral of the story, I guess, is if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Be a dick, though. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Please Hold, episode 21. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, please do like and share. The more views means the more videos I can keep making in the future. Alright, let's see. We are on... I don't know if this is going up in Monday or Tuesday, so it's one of those days probably. Okay, before we get to the question of the day, we do have a shout-out. Not a birthday shout-out, so no singing. And today's shout-out goes to Oliver. And I'm using the words I was asked to use here, so just FYI. And Oliver, you are a valid, pretty trans femboy, which is a term that Oliver's partner likes to use for them that they seem to quite enjoy. Well, I hope you're having a great day, Oliver, and I hope you get the results you're looking for so you can get back to where you want to be. Okay, right. Moving on to Hellraiser's question of the day. And today's question is, given that God is infinite, and that the universe is also infinite, do you prefer cheese on toast or a grilled cheese? Because there's many of the same components in it, but it's a very different thing. I personally like a grilled cheese because I find it easier to make, if that makes sense. Because it's called a grilled cheese, but every way I've seen of doing it is in a frying pan. However, cheese on toast is done in a grill. So that's the true grilled cheese. Now, I don't want to start an international debate here, but do you have a preferred way of doing grilled cheese? Or cheese on toast, because it's same ingredients but a different thing. Cheese on toast is basically an open-faced sandwich where you get the toast and you melt the cheese on top of it. Sometimes put Worcestershire sauce, which is quite nice. Or grilled cheese, which has become more of a favourite of mine, is, it's 2 slices of bread with cheese, maybe some other fillings in there if you're feeling adventurous. Then butter to make sure it gets all yummy and nummy. And now I'm making myself hungry, so let me know what your favourites are, and do locally you have a different name for it? Or do you have like equivalent dishes in your own countries which you also enjoy? Give me some ideas, some things I can try, because that's something pretty much everyone can do. It's a relatively low effort and generally low cost meal as well, depending how much you spend on your cheese and bread, of course. But yeah, please leave your answers in a comment below. And send your grilled cheeses to me. Wait, no, I don't have a P.O. box, so you can't send me grilled cheeses. So just leave your answers in the comment below. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.